Welcome to Stand and Empower. Today, I have the honor and privilege of interviewing my sister, Mayra Petrone. Mayra is from MCO Realty, and so she's here taking time out of her day to share some information that will hopefully be a benefit to you. So, Mayra, welcome again, and thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Mayra, tell me a little bit about yourself. What is it that you're passionate for?
Well, I've always been passionate about trying to help people if it's within my power and within my ability to do so. One of the ways that I love helping people is homeownership and through real estate. And so being able to show people, the American dream and how people can build generational wealth for their family through real estate.
Well, when did you decide to get into this field?
It was now, just over 15 years ago, almost 16 years ago, at the end of 2009. But before that, I was in the mortgage industry. So I did that for 3.5 years. I worked for a loan officer with mortgages, and I also process loans. So I know what it takes to process a whole entire loan from start to finish.
It's good. And it's good to hear that you have that experience, because probably not a lot of realtors have that, where they get more of that, like the mortgage side of it and understanding. So it probably helped you, understand the lingo, right? Get ready for, the world of, being a realtor. What are some of the challenges that you have faced, and how have you overcome them?
Wow. Okay. Well, some of the challenges is when I got started selling homes, I was in my early 20s. I was told I've always looked younger for my age. So especially at that time, I feel like I looked even younger. And so I really had to prove myself. It just felt like people didn't think I knew what I was doing because I looked young and like inexperienced. And even though I had 3.5 years in the mortgage industry, and I did express that, and I felt like that kind of helped people gain confidence in what I knew to do. But I actually had a person, I was in the business either 2 or 3 years, who actually told me that after meeting with them, and I thought we were going to move forward and everything, he said to me, I just don't feel like, I don't think that somebody that doesn't have at least 5 years experience in the field can help me. I feel like I need somebody who's been at least in the business for 5 years. In fact, I just remembered he looked me up and saw the year I graduated and pointed that out in that conversation.
What?
The year I graduated high school. And I was like, what does that have to do with anything? But okay.
No, but to experience that, right?
Yeah.
And then you kept at it, you kept going. Well, but would you tell your younger self about overcoming the challenges that you faced in your career?
Well, I would definitely say keep at it, keep moving forward, and don't give up. I definitely would tell myself, like, not take it as hard as sometimes I did at first. And just kind of, I guess, go with the flow a little more, knowing with confidence that do what you can and what you can control and not worry about the rest.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And for just any area of life, right? Sometimes we get stuck on that control piece. And so you can't control what the other person's going to think, what they're going to say, what they're going to feel. It's more about, okay, how am I dealing with this? What's in my hands right now that I can do? Right? That's really one of the important things. So no, that's great. Well, who has been your biggest support?
My biggest support has been my husband, Eric. He definitely supported me in my decision to get my real estate license and go into this career. Because this career, I work for myself. Yes, I work with MCO Realty, and they're an amazing company to work with. But at the end of the day, we are independent contractors as agents. So I work for myself.
Well, and that's really nice to have someone on your team like that, because there can be a lot of naysayers, right? People who can say, or you think you can count on that person, but then they ended up being very negative, right? And like dragging you down or saying, well, why are you doing that? You should be doing this instead. And that can be a little bit challenging, but it's good to have somebody on your team. So
definitely.
For that, So if you're definitely facing, somebody in your life that you think is someone there to encourage you, just know that there is a community out there willing to support you in your dreams.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who wants to start their own business or, enter a new career? Maybe somebody who's even already went to college, they have their degree, and then they realize, oh man, I really don't want to do this. Like, what would you say to them?
Well, first, I would say believe in yourself. That's number one. You have to believe in yourself, because you're going to come across people when you share what your goals are, or your dreams. You may find that the people that you think will be the most supportive are the ones that are more negative.
Well, thank you again, Mayra from NCO Realty, and I will have the link attached. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to her. But as we close, I do want to ask you one final question. So, Mayra, in your field, how do you stand and empower others?
Well, I have found that over the years, people have come to me after I've experienced some successes and want to sit down for a cup of coffee to ask me like what it's like being in real estate. And then I've also had other agents who have been like in the business even longer than I have, and have asked me how I do certain things with certain processes I have, kind of see what my approach is.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something they can learn to implement in their business and evolve theirs as well. And I feel like that is very empowering for the people I communicate it to, but it's also a blessing for me. And somebody a long time ago, I don't remember who it was, said there's always enough business to go around.
Yeah.
It's like, if this blesses you and this helps you, I'm happy. And I know that I will be just naturally blessed in return.
That's really good. Well, thank you for sharing that. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you next time at Stand and Empower.